Welcome to World of Podcasts, where we talk about worlds of Warcraft.
And pods.
Yes. My name is Pizza, and I'm here with...
Steak.
So, let's get started. So, we have on the queue today Battleground and Dungeon Etiquette.
On the queue, I like that. Because you have to join the queue and you wait forever.
Yeah.
So, this being our inaugural podcast, we're kind of going to take it a little bit light, make it kind of a short, cast.
It's probably, around 30-minute mark?
Something like that.
Alright.
Alright, so we're going to kind of discuss some Battleground etiquette and the do's and don'ts and the general, a little bit of manners that go with Battlegrounds.
Most of it is common sense, some of it not so much. Just keep in mind that we're just two players. This is our opinion. You may agree, you may not. Just use your discretion and don't be a dick is the overall.
I think it's the overall message of the entire podcast. It's just don't be a dick.
Yeah. I mean, there will be times whenever we talk about more lighthearted things.
It's don't be a menace to South Central while drinking juice on the hood.
Huh?
Have you never seen that movie?
No.
Okay, so it's a parody of, oh God, it's damn feels good to be a gangster, I think. it was a parody of, Don't Be a Menace, I think.
I'm over here, chewing on this venison jerky.
It is pretty good.
It is pretty good. So what do we got first up?
Alright, so kind of a nice little point to touch off with is, being encouraging.
There is nothing worse than being new to a battleground or even just having a bad day and wishing somebody good luck in a game and them coming back with, LOL, you faggot.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of rude to start off with, and it's just obnoxious, and because there may be people who are trying the Battleground for the first time, maybe people that are new to the game, maybe a kid, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Like a child could be in there.
So, Steak, what age did you get into World of Warcraft?
I was 19. I was 19 years old.
Did you ever play anything that had to do with, voice chat or anything you had to do, online multiplayer?
Prior to
WoW?
WoW, I avoided a lot of voice chat, but so I'm from I'm 31, so I'm from the generation that did the N64, 007, absolute, that was the best,
Yeah,
okay?
what year was it whenever you were 19? You were
Oh, God, that was, 07, 06, 07?
So online games were still a thing
Yeah.
little bit
Oh,
before
yeah,
that.
okay, so when I started college, it was, everyone was playing, I want to say Counter-Strike. And, of course, I was no stranger to hearing aggressive things being yelled at down the dorms. And, okay, so we had LAN parties in the dorms because the entire dorm building was on one, LAN.
Yeah.
So we would all have, LAN parties, and we'd play Halo.
Yeah.
Original, Halo and Halo 2.
We used to do that a lot with Call of Duty Black Ops.
And I swear, we would piss off people that would play upstairs, and you just hear them yelling and just getting so pissed off. So, it was not a game that welcomed very much encouragement. It was literally, I hate you, I want to shoot your face.
See, the reason I ask is because I know a lot of people get into gaming around the time that they're 13, 14 years old. And I know personally, I started playing Call of Duty with, the online community around the time that I was, 14 or 15.
I want to say that when I kind of got into the gaming world, this was well before a lot of the stuff that's established now. Counter-Strike, I think, was one of the first major, games you could do that with.
You see, me and my brother would play a lot, and while I was 15, he was around the 10-year-old mark.
Now, I did play Xbox Live.
Yeah.
With Xbox Live, and we'd play Halo and different games like that.
It's pretty much the same concept. I don't know if you've ever been on the Xbox Live servers or anything, but they're gruesome.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. There's some trolls on there.
I am kind of worried for how the WoW voice chat is gonna go.
I've actually experienced a little bit of it, and it's not as negative as you think. And granted, I've been in it in a preformed group who was trying to do like
you see,
heroic
like
Cahoon.
I'm used to like I said, the Xbox live chat, and then another of Blizzard's live chats, Overwatch.
Oh yeah, God, that was just the accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about, and that kind of is a nice segue into the be encouraging. A lot of people who are starting in, especially since we are in the age of technology and online games, as young as 10.
Oh yeah.
And maybe even a little bit before that are... Okay, so maybe not for like PvP stuff. However, that goes into... Even if you're just talking in the general chat, if you're world questing.
You've never seen Baron's chat, have you?
I don't think I've been to Baron's.
Oh, you're in for... You have, actually, with
Have I?
Brad, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I quest with him.
you are in for a world of... Fuck, I swear, man. It's like, what? There's some things in there that, like, I don't know, man. I swear like a sailor, I don't even think that I would accept some of that. Like, these people need to find Jesus, okay? That's how bad this is.
But, like, the be encouraging also extends into dungeoning. Like, if... Okay, so say that you're in a place like Arathi Basin, which happens to be my favorite battleground right now. Say you're in Arathi Basin, and you may not be having a great day or whatever, you're already feeling a little bit petty, and you get the intro that I got. That makes me not want to come help you whenever you make call-outs.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's the thing for anyone else. Like, I may be petty, but I still go to help our bases because I want to win.
Yeah, I mean, like, you do it for the overall group. It's like...
However, if you're getting mobbed and I happen to see you, I might just walk by.
It's like, I'm a tank. I don't have to make these guys angry. I have to stop them.
And it's just like, I mean, if you're going to be a jerk to everybody, then what's the point in me helping you?
But I mean, at the same time, it's like, you kind of recognize, oh, crap, you know, even though I don't like you, I'm still going to have to do my job, what I signed up for.
Yeah. See, I like to be nice and be encouraging in Battlegrounds, especially because I know when I first started Battlegrounding, I was not good at all. What? Yeah, we're at 7 minutes.
Sorry, we're playing with new software, so I just showing the neat tools to Pizza here.
I've been looking down.
Okay.
But where was I? Oh yeah, I know whenever I started Battlegrounding, I sucked. I had never done PvP before. I didn't know what I was doing. I really only did PvE things with things that are pretty predictable.
Yeah, like okay, so that's one thing that's really great about the PvP aspect of things, is that, like,
it helps you with situational awareness.
Now, granted, like, there is a certain level of predictability that comes with, like, certain things. Like, you know the rogue is gonna, like, sap you like a little dickbag.
But I've noticed that even though they use the same techniques... they're still all completely different.
Yeah, it's going to be random.
There's an air of kind of a little bit of excitement because what's going to happen? Like, is this rogue going to be a dick, or is he going to play fair, or what's he going to do?
Oh, there's no playing fair when it comes to a rogue.
When I say play fair, I mean... Okay, so I'm not sure, and this is the first time I've ever heard this terminology, twinks.
Oh,
Before then, okay, so it may sound like we're talking about gay men. We're not. So, a twink
I'm sorry.
a twink is somebody who deliberately stays at a relatively low level to get into a lower level bracket, but they gear up to the max that they can.
Yeah, so basically, like, those that are not familiar with it in the gaming experience, say that you're in the 20 to 30 bracket, or sorry, I think it's the 19 to 29 bracket. You'll have someone who's shut off their XP at 29 and been sent a bunch of gear or bought a bunch of gear off the auction house. They're really nice gear.
Yeah.
And they'll go in and they'll just beat the absolute hell out of everybody.
Yeah.
Because, like, they've got the best gear. They're at the maximum level you can be for that battleground.
And, well, I can see the strategy to it, I guess, because, you know, you want to get that honor, but just, you need to kind of sit back and consider how everyone else is going to feel about that, because you're not giving anybody really a chance.
Now, I kind of disagree with this a little bit, mainly because, like, they did, with the level scaling, they kind of scaled the PvP as well, but also... I can see the main benefit of this because...
I mean, like I said, I can see the allure, I can see the benefit. However, it's just a dick thing to do.
Well, it goes beyond that. Say, like, your honor level is account-wide now.
Yeah.
So, what you do on one character reflects to your other characters.
That leads me to another segue here. I experienced for the first time somebody on the Alliance side who obviously preferred the Horde, which I do too. However...
Oh, yeah, for the Horde. Like, all the way, man.
However, I don't do what this person did. They had all of their friends on the Horde team. They were... Like, they went over to an Alliance tune that they had leveled up. And they intentionally sabotaged the Alliance.
I've seen that a couple of times in Battlegrounds where, like, it may not even necessarily be on the same team, but they go in there to just... It's kind of a griefing act because it's like they're going in there knowing that the other player is... like, or the other players are on the opposite faction. They may not know them, but they'll kind of, like, gimp the side that they're playing on
because they prefer the other one.
They'll ignore objectives and, like, they'll intentionally stand in the back and AFK or
even
will intentionally, like, cause things to not
what
go
this
right.
particular person did was they seemed like they were helping me guard the mine. What did they do instead? They led a bunch of people over to me and then left, which is a dick thing to do.
Now, I think that actually would violate Blizzard's terms of service, because if say that they're in voice chat with the people, and say that they happen to be people that know each other, and they're actually causing the other team, they're giving them advantage that they shouldn't have, like they're telling them where people are at,
which is what I mean when I say play fair. I don't mean, like, don't use your abilities or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
like,
no, use whatever you want. Like, come at me, bro. Like,
yeah, that's
seriously.
why I go into PvP.
I play a tank, man. Come at me, bro.
Like,
I'll get in war mode. Like, bring it on.
Like, if I didn't want to challenge, I would stick to world questing.
Yeah.
I go into PvP to be challenged, however, I don't go into PvP to have somebody from the Horde side come over to the Alliance side and intentionally sabotage my team.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that actually does violate Blizzard's terms of service. I think that if they do, if they do that kind of action, I think that's griefing. I think that actually is griefing.
Now, when we say try to organize, we don't mean that.
Yeah.
When we say try to organize, we mean if you're in a battleground, make call-outs. If you're guarding one of the bases and somebody comes to attack it, you make the call-out. Or you speak before the match starts and go, hey, I want a healer to come with me so that we can do whatever. Like, I need help guarding this mine.
Even call it on the fly. Like, a lot of the Battlegrounds are very dynamic in that, like, hey, I'm going to go cap the flag.
I need somebody to...
Yeah, I need cover. And cool, you'll get people come with you. But, like, just...
One thing that really upsets me with Arathi Basin... especially, is you saw this earlier whenever you were helping me with the Battleground whenever you first came home, of, like, a whole team being at one base and just leaving the other ones.
Yeah, and that definitely applies to a lot of the other Battlegrounds, too, is that, like, it's all well and good to guard a spot.
However, you need people guarding multiple spots.
Yeah, I mean, if you have damn near your entire team at one location... It's very easy for, a couple people to just slip by.
Yeah.
And go to another location and just take it out from under you. And,
It especially sucked whenever I made the call-outs of mine incoming. And everyone would be really focused on that one base.
Yeah, I think they were at stables? And they were just standing there? Yeah.
I think so.
But, like, so that frustrates me on, like, every Battleground. Because I've experienced, I think, every Battleground at this point.
So, would you say that kind of relates to the whole don't stand in the center?
Yeah, that's what I was actually going to bring up. Like, in Warsong Gulch, don't stand in the center and be a dumbass and just, stand there and farm honor.
And there's one thing between, like, there's a difference between standing in the center once you have a flag carrier and people guarding that flag carrier to distract people. However, that's not what people do.
Yeah, if your whole team is just standing there in the center, just, like, being derps, that's a different story. Now, it's...
If you want to just do PvP to go fight everybody, do it on your own time. Go to a like turn war mode on or whatever.
Yeah, that's more of an open world kind of thing.
Yeah, if you're gonna go into a battleground, I expect you to do the objectives of the battleground.
Yeah, because every single one of them actually has an objective. It's not just like kill these people.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them are actually like that.
There isn't.
You know, my favorite is Eye of the Storm, and I swear, man,
I've been meaning to try it every
people
time I queue
that
for it.
just will stand on top of where the flag is, but then ignore the little points around. It's like, hey, we need to actually have a base to turn this flag into. You guys are just standing there like derps. You know, it's like, don't do that. And you know, the same kind of can even apply to other aspects of the game, like in dungeons. Okay,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
this frustrates me because I'm very PvE oriented. You know, and you basically have people who will go in there. Like, now, it's one thing, I've gone into dungeons half-assed and kind of just, like, went through the motions. But there are people who go in there completely blind. Now, it's one thing if it's normal, I don't care, that's fine, whatever. But, like, as the challenge level of the stuff you're running goes up, like say you're on, like, a high mythic.
Yeah, if you go to heroic or mythic or... I expect you to know what you're doing.
Like, okay, the other day when I was doing a mythic key.
Oh,
and
with the hunter?
Yeah, and I had the hunter in there, and I think a priest in there too. And it's like, they didn't know, I think it was like King's Rest, and they didn't know the basic mechanics of the fight. And it's like, guys, do not sign up for a key mythic dungeon if you don't know the fights. And because they're timed. You know, you guys that run it, you know that they're timed. And every time you screw up, you lose time. Like, you don't just lose time in running back, but you lose time in... You actually physically lose time. For every death you have, you lose a certain amount of time.
It really frustrates me when people go into raids or dungeons, and they pop an ability that they don't know what it does.
Oh my god. That pissed me off. So I know that I say to discount normal dungeons, but I heal on a shaman. And there was a hunter that was in there, and that dude popped the hunter equivalent of bloodlusts on trash.
Doesn't
And like not even a very big trash bag, just trash.
Doesn't that make it to where like nobody else can use a lust
Oh
ability?
yeah, you're sated for 10 minutes, and it's like, dude, that was a waste. Why the hell did you do that? He goes, I didn't know what it did. I'm like, then don't press it.
Yeah.
You know, like, don't press it. And then he would continue to like. Not even, like, shoot stuff and pull it. He would literally just face pull. Like, he would just walk into stuff that was, like, nowhere near what we were fighting, and I could tell that the tank was getting agitated.
There are a few no-nos, and one of them is to just run into a pack without real aggro.
Yeah.
And another is to face or body pull.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, it's one thing if you accidentally back up into him, but this was consistent throughout the run. It was, like, every, like... I think it was Underrot, and the ticks at the beginning, and just like all kinds of crap on the side. And it's like, oh my god, stop it!
So something kind of funny happened earlier.
What's up?
Speaking of like accidents and stuff, so I was in Arathi Basin, and I went to go capture the flag. I think at the farm, and I didn't see the other person trying to cap it. You know, and like it was all good. He didn't get mad at me or anything. He like kind of interrupted what I was doing and then went LOL, and I was like, sorry man, I didn't see you. And we just kind of went about our business. He like continued to guard me for the rest of like I feel like it was a bonding moment.
we had a moment there, and it was important to both of us.
And I just thought like things like that really make my experience. And there, okay, so I know I say that I try to be positive, and a lot of times it kind of bites me in the ass. But earlier, there was a particularly wholesome one. And it also kind of, when I went back... Oh, no, I was world questing before that, and I'll get back to that in a second. Like, I wished good luck at the beginning. Someone wished me good luck back. And we started to, like, really lose. And, like, everyone was starting to get kind of hopeless. Like, we're not going to win this. So I type in the chat, and I say that we can still come back from this. We just need to, like, pull together. Like, you know, just generally being positive about it. And people were surprised.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was really that scarce that people...
Did you guys actually win that one?
We came really close.
Okay.
Like, we ended up, like, so at that point, they were nearing the thousands, and we were, like, in the 400s. And so, obviously, it looked like we weren't gonna win.
Yeah.
We
Is that
finished,
the one that I walked into?
No.
Okay.
We finished 1,400 to 1,500.
That's not bad. That's pretty close.
And, like, we really made a comeback.
You know what that reminds me of? The cinematic, the opening cinematic for BFA when Anna was like, "For the Alliance!" And of course I'm like making fun of him because he looks like a child. He is a child, but like...
He's so wholesome though.
But like it's the whole redeeming, you're like pulling up your whole team, like, you can do this, guys, and then you just like, no, you lost.
And that brings me to the world questing that I was doing before that. And I was trying to
You're doing the interrogation thing, right?
so I had to get like something to surrender.
Yeah, I know it's the Libertines and Suramar. Yeah, you had to get them to surrender.
My
That thing was annoying. I've done like 20 of them before.
Okay, but like I killed at least 100 of them before once. Okay, one of them was on accident. And by the time I got done killing his little friend or whatever, he walked away. So I didn't get to click on him. And so I kept going and going and going, and I was getting so frustrated. And I typed in general chat, and I was like, hey, I'm doing this quest. How do I make it work? It's not working for me. Because
That one was always a pain in the ass.
I thought there was something I was doing wrong.
No, that one is absolute pain in the ass.
And come to find out that people had tried to do it the day before and didn't get it completed because it just kept bugging and I find in Suramar a lot of world quests tend to bug.
Sometimes, yeah.
And like it's never the repeat quests. It's the ones that rarely happen. And so I typed in general chat, and people were actually super nice and helpful about it. Like,
that's a surprising thing.
It was really surprising. I was expecting like, oh, well, maybe you should just get better, noob.
Get good.
But like, no, people were like, yeah, I was doing that one yesterday, and it wasn't working for me either. And somebody was like, okay, you need to do this, and kind of stalk these areas.
Yeah.
And just keep killing until you get one. And pretty soon after that, I got my thing to work.
You could have texted me,
You were at work.
You could text me that. What do I do at work? I do nothing at work.
Okay, but I was in the middle of trying to get it done. I was frustrated. I didn't want to have to wait for your response.
So, something that, like, I wanted to touch on, too, like, back to the dungeon kind of stuff. Okay, so back in previous expansions, before they put in the dungeon journal, this was acceptable of people going in and not knowing very basic stuff, and just like I said, I started playing in BC, and it was just, it's unacceptable now to go into a dungeon and not know a basic mechanic, like a really basic mechanic.
Like, don't stand behind a dragon boss, or don't stand in fire.
I mean, the game's been out long enough to where it's like, oh, I probably don't need to stand in front of that thing.
Because, like, I'm a relatively new player, and common sense dictates if something has a giant tail and can swipe and hit you, you don't stand behind it.
So, and that's the thing, too, is like, this is addressing melee. Alright, I love you guys, I do, I play melee on my Demon Hunter, and I want you guys to understand something. I don't like it when you stand in front of the boss with me when I'm tanking. Mainly because bad things that happen tend to come in my direction that aren't supposed to be there. Because you guys are standing in front of it. Another thing, too, is that...
Can't heal stupid.
Well, okay, you can't heal stupid, but, like, you... So, okay, there's a certain... like, your damage actually goes down. Because the boss can parry your attacks if you're facing him. Now, a parry is actually the swordsmanship term, whatever.
Where you, like, dodge?
No, you actually deflect a weapon with your weapon.
Did you hear that whistle?
Did you whistle?
Yeah, I went to go, you dodge it, and it, like, whistled.
Dive, dodge, and dodge.
And I'm sitting here like, God damn, I sound like Herbert.
Oh, sweet Cyrus. Hi, Dan. Must be my birthday.
Oh my
All right,
gosh.
so it's essentially when you deflect a weapon with your weapon is what a parry is. So mobs can't parry from behind, like at all. So
It's like, what are you gonna do? Toot at it and make it go away?
well, okay. So when you do that, like your damage goes down because a portion of your attacks are now being deflected. Like you're not actually getting any damage on them. Back in the day, there's this thing called parry haste. When a boss parried an attack, it actually started. It would attack. The next attack it did was faster. Now they did away with that. Like
Yeah,
I
I'm
want to
kinda glad
say
they did.
in like the end of BC, they did away with that because it was crazy.
I see we're coming up a little bit on.
Oh yeah, no, we're good.
Do
We're
you
good. We
want
got
to,
5 minutes.
Do you want to maybe extend a little bit, or do you
Yeah,
wanna...
we can just be rough about it. You know, we'll just kind of like do as we feel here.
Yeah,
But-
until we don't have anything else to ramble about. I mean, we're just two idiots talking.
I was
about
gonna kind of bring up like
Warcraft.
the forums and stuff like that because that's important. Like,
One of the most important, there are 3 really important resources, and it's Icy Veins, Wowhead, and take advantage of Discord. Like,
Yeah.
if you play WoW even just semi-regularly, download Discord, because for one, there's really good resources, and 2, you know, if you decide that, oh, well, I made a friend that I want to play with, Discord's really great to talk to them too.
a lot of people that have guilds too, like, will definitely be in Discord. So, like, the Discord forums, other than the mage one I've heard was a disaster. I don't know if they fixed it, but it was a disaster. So, they're really good. You go in there and people, like, okay, they have rules. Like, you can't just go in there and be a troll and,
Yeah.
like, be a dumb shit.
The cool thing about the Discord that I've noticed is it's not like, this is the ideal way to play. It's actually people who play it
Yeah.
regularly.
Well, I mean, they do have this is the ideal setup, but then they also have, hey,
This is the realistic setup.
play it how you play it by ear. Like, gear is going to tighten forward, just going to be like this and this and this.
Also, everybody is going to have a slightly different playstyle.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
take it as a base guide
Yeah.
and maybe make adjustments wherever you need to, but trust that these people know what they're talking
So,
about.
a fourth kind of additional tool that's really helpful. Okay, so this is purely for, like, DPS players. Sim your character. And, like, SimC is a good program. I forget the other one, but it's a really, really, really good simming
Simulation
program.
Craft?
No, that's SimC.
Oh.
So there's another one. It's really good. It's a website that'll actually do it. I think Raidbots. Raidbots is what it's called, and it's really good. It'll actually compare your character, and you can get, like, I use Pawn C, like pawn strings, so I can actually, like, import the string to tell whether or not something is an upgrade for me or not. So it's really helpful. I will say that do that to kind of, like, if you do want to optimize. But even if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Check out the Discord forums. They're really good. Like I said, they have a set of rules. If you come in there and you're just, like, harassing and you are giving no...
Being a general nuisance.
Yeah, if you're being a nuisance, if you don't have anything, like, positive, or if you're not there for research...
It's like, if you're not contributing anything useful...
Like, if you're
then-
just in there just being a dick,
Yeah.
they're going to kick you out of that Discord.
Yeah.
They will ban you from that Discord.
You have lost a really good resource.
Yeah, like, seriously, like, the Fellhammer Discord is beautiful.
So, there's a 4th thing that I meant to mention, and I guess, had a brain fart. Twitch.
Yeah,
For the add-ons.
yeah. Oh, yeah. So it used to be Curse, and now it's Twitch. Then that's a really good thing. Don't go overboard with add-ons right off the bat. Like, if you're new to the game, do not go overboard with add-ons,
It's
because...
like, you realistically don't need every add-on under the
You really
freaking
don't.
sun.
You
like,
really don't.
Find out which ones work for you. Like, so, Steak and I are very ADHD. And so we have add-ons, and I think it's, DBM?
Okay, so I can kind of give a good base of what add-ons are really good to go with, like, right off the bat. So DBM is always good.
Can you explain a little bit what DBM is?
DBM is Deadly Boss Mods, and it works in raids, it works in dungeons, and it works in open world.
It basically
kind of
yells
events.
at you things that you need to do.
Yeah, like, it's really good for, like, it's indicating, hey, don't do this, don't stand in this, or
Yeah.
interrupt this spell, like, this big spell's going off, it needs to be interrupted,
Yeah.
things like that, and it really...
Even just as simple as, like, you may need to move a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right.
Yeah,
Or
it's like...
it's time to pop this thing, or your pain is maxed out, or...
Well, okay, no, that's actually a little bit different. So,
I'm just speaking in the terms of add-ons in general.
Okay, I gotcha.
Like, not just DBM, but especially if you're very ADHD, like Steak and I are.
Which I'm actually going to cover that one.
Because we need things to flash across our screen and tell us, hey, dumb shit.
Although, like, even those that don't have, like, ADHD issues,
it's still really helpful.
It's really good to kind of, you want to center where everything is.
So you're not having
instead
to,
of, like, staring off, looking at your bars the whole time.
It really helps if you're, like, in the heat of a fight and you can't exactly, like, look around.
Yeah, especially, like, if you're a healer or something, or a tank, and you need to be, like...
Because I know that, like, if I'm in the middle of a fight, I'm not paying attention to my pain. I'm not paying attention to really anything.
That's why I put it in the middle of your screen.
It coming across my screen and, like, showing me my pain bar and being like, you need to take care of this.
So, okay. So that's the other add-on I kind of want to, like, really touch on is weak auras. Weak auras is really good for monitoring things and, like, so you don't have to write the weak aura yourself. Like, don't really do that unless you feel comfortable doing that.
Like, if you've got coding experience, go ahead.
Well, it's not even coding. It's like you can create your own weak aura just by, like, different timers and adjust it how you want. However,
they've got pre-made,
there are pre-made weak aura strings. Like, just Google what you want.
Honestly,
and they're beautiful. Like, they're really beautifully done.
Yeah, if you want it, there's probably one for it.
Oh yeah, like the
shit, man. There's an add-on, or there was an add-on that made your hits sound like Owen Wilson.
Oh no. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. So I was gonna. So back in the day in BC,
an add-on for everything.
It wasn't even an add-on. It was a sound adjustment file, and it replaced the gun sound that the hunters, like back in Burning Crusade, had with the Stormtrooper blaster.
Didn't you have one for your fishing?
Yes. Okay, so I had a fishing add-on that every time, like, my lure went down, it would be like the Ollie Williams from Family Guy going, "I saw a fish," and I about pissed myself laughing every time it went off because it was funny as shit.
That is pretty funny.
Okay, but, like, as far as weak auras goes, there is a plethora of information. Like, you've seen the one I have on my hunter, right? It's like really, like, everything, like what's coming on cooldown and stuff like that, right?
I don't really get on your hunter.
Okay, so you have seen this one though, the soul tracker.
Yeah.
On the demon hunter.
Yeah,
I did not create that weak aura. That's actually I'm gonna do a call out for this. Monkey, if you happen to listen to this podcast, I love you. You're great. Your resources are amazing. I've spoken to you once or twice before because you used to be on, like, Staghelm as your Mist Realm. You're awesome. I love your guides.
Anyone else you want to shout out in the meantime?
Just him, because, like, he specifically created this.
I mean, anyone you want to say hi
to? To my friends, to my guildies, you got. All right, I hope you guys listen to this, and, I hope you guys enjoy this. And I think we're going to probably wrap it up about here.
So something I do want to shout out is our Instagram account for our podcasts, which is literally just World of Podcasts. You can follow us there for any updates on if we're going to be posting a surprise podcast.
Surprise!
Or if we've got any news or updates or anything. If there is a way for me to link it, I probably will.
Okay.
And I'd say that's about it. Do you have any closing?
Okay, so one thing I did write down here, and it's two things I want to touch on very, very end. Be mindful of your healers. A happy healer is a happy raid, or a happy, like, AoE group, or PvP group. And it's, I'll put it this way: if the tank dies, it's the healer's fault. If the healer dies, it's the tank's fault. If the DPS die, it's your own damn fault.
Yeah.
Don't stand in that fire. You're probably doing something you shouldn't do.
Right.
Okay, now, granted, I know there's exceptions, but you're probably doing something you shouldn't do. All right, and then the other one to have is don't tunnel. That's when you get, like, tunnel vision and you're like, you're focused on, like, I'm just going to DPS this thing. And you're missing everything else that's going on around you. Your situational awareness is failing you. And this is where add-ons like DBM and Weak Wars kind of, like, come into play here. Like, they're really helpful for stuff like that.
I got one more thing to add on about the dungeon you were doing right before this.
Oh, God.
Whenever we say be mindful, we don't just mean of your healers. We mean of everybody else in your dungeon group.
Yeah.
Because if you as a tank or a DPS or whatever just run ahead and aggro a bunch of things and don't let your healer
Because I
build
actually
up
did
mana.
go. I went in there because
You
it
might
was
need to
the
explain what is.
out of mana. So like in the way my shaman says it, I'm out the mana because he's a troll, right? And that's a horrible impersonation. It was a situation to where they pulled to the point to where, and they would stand in like everything bad, and it was the snake boss, like the actual snake in Temple Sathralis. And I want to say it was like my first or second heroic of my shaman. I mean, I'm gearing him up, so don't yell at me, whatever. And it was just I popped everything I could, and just the tank would continually go when I was in the process of trying to get everybody caught back up.
He basically Leroy Jenkins everything.
Yeah, he basically did, and like, okay, so in the DPS, and this is what I mean by don't tunnel is. One or two of the ads in there does a like electrified shell thing, or scales, whatever. And if you hit it, it's like thorns. You'll do damage back to yourself. So if you're just like popping away, hitting it, you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
The more damage you think you're doing to that boss, you're just
Because I didn't have like enough GCDs to purge them all off. There was a lot of crap I had to purge off. Okay, so I'm having to explain this to Pizza here. Purging a spell means like when you just like take a buff.
GCP.
GCD. GCD is the global cooldown. Like so,
Ah.
you noob. I'm sorry. I'm the old player. I've been around for a while.
Look, man, I'm not new. However, I'm relatively new.
Mhm.
I'm not new enough to where I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm new enough to where I don't know a lot of the terminology.
I think there are characters that are older than your character looks on my account.
How old does my character look?
It's like, what? It's like 15.
My character does not look 15. If she looks 15, then you're a fucking perv for dressing her slutty. He went in.
It's your fault that you have a night elf and she's got slut mog.
He went in and he purposefully made my character look slutty, and now you're saying she looks 15.
Okay. I'll give her. She's an 18. She's an 18.
She looks around 20, 21.
18.
No.
Okay, so you have to understand that demon hunters have very unique transmog because they like to show off the tats.
Yeah, kind of like me.
Yeah. All right, so we definitely should wrap it up about now.
Yeah, it's getting pretty long.
So it's kind of like it's getting pretty long there.
So thank you guys for listening, and I hope to try and update this pretty regularly. I'm inconsistent. Just kidding. I'm not that inconsistent, but
All right, guys, we're gonna head out. It's been a pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed listening to us, and tune in next time.
Yep.
See ya.
See ya.